What's going on, everybody? How's everyone doing? It is Thursday, May 21st. Thursday, May 21st, 2020. It's about 10 a.m. in the morning. I just got out of work. Love the overnights. Overnights are so delightful. Yo, honestly, shout out to everybody that works overnights. We have to be the real MVPs. Not for nothing. We have to be the real MVPs. Overnights are just there's something about working overnights that just really is shitty. It sucks. But somehow rewarding in a weird way because you kind of, depending on what you do. There's a whole theory to this whole overnight thing and what you do and what needs to be done rather than sacrificing this or that. The idea is if you go to bed as soon as you get home from work, then you could sleep until about 1, 2 o'clock and then be able to have the rest of the day to do whatever you got to do. You know, obviously having children and things like that will definitely play a role or a factor in regards to into how you plan out your day. But if you're single or boyfriend girl, you have a boyfriend girlfriend, whatever the case may be, in that respect, no kids, no hard responsibilities that you have to do, I guess, then ideally you want to get home or come home, fall asleep right away, and then wake up around 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. That's kind of the ingredient with it, I guess. Then you got to worry about eating and stuff like that, when you eat and all these other things. Me personally, I probably have 1 to 2 meals a day. And 2 meals is definitely pushing it. Obviously not healthy, but yeah. Just because of the sleep schedule and just how my body is, it's hard. I pretty much just go through 1 meal and then kind of snack on some things during the overnight shift. But other than that, I really don't have that typical 3 to 4 meals a day. So that obviously is probably not a good thing because I'm denying my body a lot of nutrients and vitamins and things like that. But I mean, I do take a 1 a day for a meal 1 a day type of thing. So I don't know, but yeah. So overnights suck in a way. You know, obviously if you're whatever employee that you're working or whatever employer you're working for, if they give you like overnight differential, then I guess it's worth it in a way. But yeah, man. I mean, overnights is just different. You know, at least in my field of law enforcement, working overnights is more beneficial for me. I get to pretty much do what the things that I need to do. Really, I get to sleep in, and then after I wake up, I get to just do whatever I gotta do in terms of yard work or just hang out around, do whatever, and then train. You know, I'm avid in MMA. And all that stuff. So I like to train. I train others, so I kind of have another like hobby going for me. So it's good, you know. And then I get to hang out for the rest of the night until I nap before work. You know, usually I like to take a nap probably 2 hours before I go to work. Ideally, that's what I'm looking to get, at least 2 hours. Sometimes it doesn't work out. I just get an hour. But another thing too is you know. It's staying up obviously at night is difficult, but I mean, for the most part, I pretty much just I stay up all night and sleep all day. Well, sort of all day till about 2 o'clock, and then I'm up. And like I said, I try to get whatever I got to get done. It's nice, you know. The schedule works out for me. Yeah, it sucks in one hand, but at the same time, in the other hand, it works out for me. So I mean, I really can't complain. But yeah, so basically, if you're an overnighter and you're working overnights, you guys are the real MVPs. Shout out to all my graveyard shift peeps. Much respect. I know what you guys are going through. I know how you guys feel. It's rough, but it is what it is, right? Got a job to do. Gotta provide food for the fam. But yeah, so here we are, May 21st. New York still doing New York things with the whole coronavirus, COVID-19. Governor Cuomo is losing his shit. I think everyone in New York is pretty much getting crazy. New York is a very shitty place to be right now. This whole thing is getting crazy. For us in our area, we are still not able to enter phase 1 and opening up the world, or opening up New York. We still have a couple things that we are a little behind on. So unfortunately, we're struggling, but we're still trying to push through and whatnot. Hopefully, things start to work out. Things start to shed some light, because it's a very shitty time right now, especially now we're getting to the summer months. I could definitely say that the patience is running thin. People want to be out and about, enjoying the nice weather, especially after being out during the winter. Luckily, we didn't have a lot of snow and things like that, but still, you're dealing with the cold. There's not much to do out in the outdoors. Summertime, you pretty much get to enjoy a lot of different things: barbecues, playing outside, beaches. There's just a complete different vibe when you're during the summer months, and being able to just do other things that you obviously wouldn't be able to do during the winter months. So, like I said, the patience is running thin. Patience is running thin. Just not doing enough to start to get into our phases here. It's unfortunate. I think New York has 5 of 7 completed right now, I believe. I haven't looked at the numbers in a couple days now, so I don't know if anything has changed. But in my area, New York, I think it's in the Hudson Valley, looking at 5 of 7, I believe. So I don't know. Like I said, I haven't seen the numbers since what are we since Monday or Tuesday. So I don't know, but it's only a matter of time, right? It's only a matter of time. We'll see what happens. Hopefully things work out, but there's got to be light at the end of the tunnel, right? So we just got to keep pushing forward, keep going at it, and see what happens. Mountain biking, I am going Friday to the bike shops that we have here. I'm gonna go see if I could get a mountain bike that I like and go riding. I'm gonna hopefully if I can find a bike for Friday, I'm about 100% sure I'm gonna ride Friday. So if I don't, then maybe Saturday depending on weather, maybe Sunday depending on weather. But I know Friday's going to be really nice, I think. So hopefully I'll find a bike on Friday and I'll start riding on Friday. That's the goal. I know I mentioned this before. I mean, the prices on these damn mountain bikes are so damn expensive, man. What, such a pain in the ass. You know what I mean? Such a pain in the ass. But like I said,
I mean, you know what? Whatever. Whatever. It's one of those things where if you utilize it the way that you deem it to be worth the price, then screw it. You know what I mean? Money's there to be spent, so that's what it's for. So I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait till Friday. I'm gonna check tomorrow. I'm gonna check these places out, and I want to get a mountain bike, and then I'm gonna ride. Hopefully Friday. Hopefully I find something. I can't justify more than $500 on a bike, so that's my budget. I'm gonna try to see if I can get less than 500, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I just can't justify. I just can't justify 500. Anything more than $500 on a bike, at least not right now. But I want to. I'm good with it. If it's 500 on even whatever, then I'll do it. But we'll see what happens. We'll see how everything pans out. But I'm trying to get a bike. Friday's the goal. Mountain biking on Friday. Try to find out. I've been searching up trails in New York. I found a few, so I'll definitely try to hit those up. And the good thing too is they're not that far from where I am, so that's good. So I'm definitely gonna try to hit up those trails, and then I'll take some videos and pictures and stuff. Hopefully everything works out, and I'll be able to take some pictures. Hopefully get some nice scenic views. But I'm excited, man. I'm excited. I can't wait. I can't wait till tomorrow. Cannot wait till tomorrow. Mountain biking. Mountain biking. Yeah. I'm excited. Lose a lot of weight mountain biking. There's a lot of cardio involved. But yeah, it's going to be good. Yeah, and leg strength too. That's another thing. It's just a good overall workout, man. Biking is just such an underrated workout, I feel like. I feel that mountain biking is just one of those activities that are just that is just completely underrated. You could go ride. I mean, obviously depending on what you do, you know what I mean? If you go ride for 5 miles, then I would definitely say you're not getting the most out of what you should be getting. I would say 20 miles, 25 miles, 30 miles biking is the way to do it, to get something really out of it, especially if you're actually climbing up a mountain. Like especially if you're climbing up a mountain, then it's 100% worth it, because then you could just do whatever you got to do. You're just putting a lot of cardio and strength into your legs and everything of that nature and that. So biking is definitely an underrated cardiovascular exercise for sure. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait. I just can't wait. I can't wait. So we're gonna talk about a couple things, a few things that we got going on. We're gonna talk about. We're shifting gears here. It's wrestling talk. I want to. You guys are probably wondering why I am by myself today for the wrestling podcast. Anthony is, I believe, working, so he was unable to make it to the podcast today this morning. Unfortunately, and we miss you, bud. Wish you were here. The wrestling talk is not going to be the same without you. But like the old saying goes, the show must go on. The show must go on. So here I am, going to be talking about a couple things. We have a little bit of WWE talk, and then we have a whole bunch of AEW talk. So we're going to get right into this. And obviously I know I'm a little late with the WWE talks, because I'm going to mention Money in the Bank. Money in the Bank was about a couple weeks ago. I am very late. There was a lot of UFC fights that the UFC put out in about a 10-day span, so trying to catch up with that and doing podcasts with that, and just the timing of work and the timing of everything. Fortunately, I wasn't able to get into it with wrestling talk and Money in the Bank, and I was trying to get in touch with Anthony and trying to figure out days for him, but he's been working so much, man. So for him, he's just been busy. So I just didn't want to push it back any more than I had to, and especially now this weekend, there's an event this weekend that I'll get to later on in the podcast. So Money in the Bank. Money in the Bank. WWE. Money in the Bank. So, overall, it was a decent show. I would say it wasn't great, not so good, not bad, and it wasn't worse. So, it was in the middle. It was perfectly in the middle. It was a decent show. They did what they had to do with the show, obviously. So I'm just going to do a quick breakthrough or rundown. I know in the podcast that Anthony and I did, where we did our predictions of the card, we had to stop abruptly in the podcast. Check that out. I believe it's episode 12. Check it out. Go right to the end. Maybe the last 15 minutes or so. And it was hilarious. A family emergency that we thought what we thought was a family emergency turned out not to be. Luckily, thank God. We just had to go to a complete stop on the podcast. It was funny. But anyways, so Money in the Bank. We have the pre-show, Jeff Hardy and Cesaro in a singles match. Nothing too crazy with that. Jeff Hardy defeated Cesaro. Match went about over 13 minutes or so. 13 minutes and a few seconds. The main card, you had a tag team matchup. It's a SmackDown tag team matchup with the New Day, the New Day, Big E, Kofi Kingston, the Forgotten Sons, Steve Cutler, Wesley Blake, the Miz and John Morrison, and the Lucha House Party. It was a fatal 4-way tag team match for the WWE SmackDown Tag Team Championship that kicked off the show. It was a very entertaining show. An entertaining match. Any match I would say that has the New Day and the Miz and John Morrison's an exciting match. You really can't go wrong with those guys. Those guys put on great performances. The New Day retained their title. The match went around about 12 minutes. It was, like I said, it was a solid matchup. Great all around. The Forgotten Sons, great job. Lucha House Party, they did their part in just being kind of just there in terms of the underdog kind of style. But overall, the matchup was great. New Day coming out victorious and retaining their SmackDown Tag Team titles. Next after that, you had a singles match between Bobby Lashley and R-Truth. R-Truth is hilarious, man. You know, if you guys, for everyone who's a wrestling fan right now listening to this, R-Truth, come on. He is gold, man. That guy is great. R-Truth is great. And not for nothing, what would you guys think about, and speaking of the Bobby Lashley beating R-Truth in their singles match, which only lasted about less than 2 minutes, by the way, what would you guys think of a Bobby Lashley R-Truth tag team? I feel like you got something good there, in my opinion. I think you got something really, really good there. You know, you have Bobby Lashley, who's a big man, strong, athletic, freak of nature, kind of the enforcer style, and then you have R-Truth, who's the funny guy, very elusive, relaxed, still a solid wrestler, but very good on the mic as well. You know, and I feel like those two together, I feel like you got gold there. I think that's a great tag team partnership that you could create. I think those guys together would actually do some good things, you know, for entertainment purposes. WWE, if you're ever listening to this, and hopefully sooner rather than later, Bobby Lashley, R-Truth tag team. Think about it. One of my least favorite matches of the night, if not the least favorite match of the night, Bayley versus Tamina for the WWE SmackDown's Women's Championship. That match was about a little under 11 minutes, just over 10 minutes. That matchup was so boring. It was the worst matchup to watch. I hated that match. So stupid. It was so pointless. It's just the match shouldn't. I feel like you could have had I think there could have been other females in that match that would have been better suited off versus Tamina, but I mean, it is what it is. Eventually, I think that it's a road that's gonna lead to a showdown between Sasha Banks and Bayley, and Sasha Banks turning face again probably, and I'm gonna assume that's probably gonna happen at SummerSlam. We'll see. That's just my idea. That's what I'm thinking Creative's gonna do, but yeah, this match was so boring of a match. It was, I don't know. It's just not even worth talking about. After that, you had Braun Strowman defeating Bray Wyatt for the in a singles match for the WWE Universal Championship match. That match was about 11 minutes long. That was a pretty solid match. It told its story. It wasn't The Fiend. It was Bray Wyatt. So if you guys haven't seen Money in the Bank, just know that it wasn't Braun Strowman versus The Fiend. It was his alter ego, Bray Wyatt. So, and I think they did that on purpose. They wanted Bray Wyatt. Well, Bray Wyatt tried to recruit Braun Strowman, but obviously that didn't work out. Braun Strowman was able just to be his own man, but obviously the way that it's set up for a showdown. Again, I'm going to assume at SummerSlam only because that's probably the second biggest pay-per-view next to WrestleMania, and I think a Braun Strowman versus The Fiend match would be phenomenal. It's a match to watch. So that's definitely gonna have hype leading up to SummerSlam. So kudos to WWE on that, and then we'll obviously see what happens with Roman Reigns. I know Roman Reigns has I believe twins now. I think he had twins. I think recently he had twins. So or his wife had twins. So we'll see what he. I mean, I know WWE's still kind of butthurt about him doing what he did, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens with Roman Reigns. He may potentially return for SummerSlam too, so we'll see. Maybe a dramatic return. We'll see. It's going to be interesting to see how that's going to work out. But until then, Braun Strowman versus The Fiend this summer seems like the way that they're going with it. So that's going to be an exciting matchup for sure. Moving on, Drew McIntyre versus Seth Rollins for the WWE Championship match, also in a singles match. That match was about 20 minutes long. That was actually a great worked match. I'm not sure if that made sense. A great worked match. Wrestling wise, those guys just were excellent together. Great chemistry. They've worked very well. It was a solid match. I believe that Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins. I just believe that whole matchup was good. Drew McIntyre retained his championship belt, defeating Seth Rollins. But it was good. It was definitely good, and you kind of figured that was going to happen, especially with Drew McIntyre just winning the championship belt at WrestleMania. You're not going to have him lose it at the next pay-per-view after WrestleMania. It just wouldn't have made sense. But we'll see what's in store for him come summertime and everything like that, and what's next. Obviously, you have a couple of pay-per-views before then, but it's going to be interesting to see how this all pans out and how this event evidently plays out for Drew McIntyre. And now, by the way, all these matches, the ones that I just mentioned to you, were all matches that took place at the Performance Center in Florida. The only two matches out of this whole card, which was actually something new that the WWE did, and kudos to them. I think they did a very great job with this. They used the women's Money in the Bank match and the men's Money in the Bank match ladder. And the Money in the Bank match, by the way, guys, just so you, again, for those of you who don't know, they're just ladder matches, basically. It's just a fancy way of saying Money in the Bank ladder matches. Basically, the idea is you have two suitcases, one for the females, one for the males, and the respective female and male competitor who wins by taking down the briefcase after climbing a ladder. And basically, the briefcase contains a contract that states that said wrestler can cash in the contract or the Money in the Bank briefcase at any given time, and basically you'll do that in a way where you'll retrieve and become the next WWE or Universal Champion. So it's basically just a guaranteed contract that they could that they'll have to go for the title. So So you had for the representing the females in the Money in the Bank ladder match. You had Asuka, Carmella, Dana Brooke, Lacey Evans, Nia Jackson, Shayna Baszler. For the men's, you had Otis, AJ Styles, Aleister Black, Daniel Bryan, King Corbin, and Rey Mysterio. So this match, like I said, was well put together. It was very cinematic. Like they continued that from the WrestleMania matches with Undertaker, AJ Styles, and John Cena and Bray Wyatt, or The Fiend. They continued on with this in the with the two of the main events, and what they did is they used the females and the males Money in the Bank match, and they combined it together. So they filmed it at the same time, which was very clever. And there was a lot of spots in between before the ending where the male wrestlers and the female wrestlers interacted together. So that was like I said, that was pretty cool. And there was a lot of comedic spots, a lot of comedy in the matchup, which obviously you have to have it. There's the music in the background that would be playing. That way, it's gonna make it less awkward. I mean, for something like that, the comedy and that kind of thing, it properly flowed. You know what I mean, with the match. So it was like it was a very well drawn out match. For the females, you had Asuka winning. I just don't understand why they aren't pushing Lacey Evans. In my opinion, I like Lacey Evans. I think right now she's a baby face. She's hot. She's a hot topic. When I say she's hot, I mean she's over with the fans for the most part. She's a big name, house name. So she has the looks. She has that power, the strength. She has the championship vibe, you know. So I'm very surprised that they haven't given her that shot. Honestly, I think it's bullshit. I think they should have given her the shot. I think it's long overdue. I think WrestleMania should have been the time for her to shine, to be honest, if I'm being honest. But definitely now. But they decided to go with Asuka to win the Money in the Bank briefcase ladder match. Again, my opinion. Everyone probably has their own opinions. It is what it is. I'm not going to say you're wrong or I'm wrong or whatever the case might be. I'm just saying that I wish just Lacey Evans won. That's all. Period. For the men's, you had Otis winning. So that was a pretty solid. I like that. I like it. I like it a lot, actually. I think Otis is very over with the fans right now. He's a big baby face, especially coming off the storyline with Mandy Rose. Those two are great together, good chemistry on screen, and I think that was a smart choice to have Otis win, especially in the way that he did win. They kind of made a joke about his weight and everything like that, and not being able to climb the ladder, and every time he climbed the ladder, that the leg would break or the steps would break, and so he wouldn't be able to climb the ladder. So what they did was they had a spot where AJ Styles and Baron Corbin were fighting for the briefcase. AJ Styles was able to evidently get the briefcase, but dropped it and then got into the hands of Otis. Thus, Otis winning. So it was a very creative, odd way for Otis to win, but it was good. It was good. I can see why they had that happen again. I was pushing for someone else. I wanted Aleister Black winning. I think Aleister Black is again same thing as Lacey Evans. He has that championship vibe. He's got that it factor. He's great on the mic. He could wrestle. So for me, I just think that it's a strong choice for Aleister Black to get that push. Obviously, it didn't work out, which I get. You know, I'm not mad about it. I was just rooting for Aleister Black. That's all. But I like Otis winning. That was a good matchup. So that's about it for the Money in the Bank. That's pretty much all the matches, the main cards, the pre-show and the main card in a nutshell. Overall, like I said, the show wasn't great, wasn't good, wasn't bad, and it wasn't terrible. It was a decent show. It did what it had to do. It entertained. So, and that's pretty much all you need, you know. It didn't do anything over the top that made it great, and it didn't do anything terrible to make it suck. It was a decent show. They did what they had to do. Which is good. So a week or two after that, you had Monday Night Raw. You had a couple things going on with Monday Night Raw. I know Rey Mysterio, they have something going on with Rey Mysterio. I know Rey Mysterio's contract's about to expire soon, so they're kind of playing around with that in terms of storyline, him being injured and things like that. I'm not sure what they're going to end up doing overall, but you had a couple things going on, and one of the things that happened weeks after the show was something very odd, and that is Drew Gulak. So there is a tournament that's going on right now for the Intercontinental Championship. You had Daniel Bryan go up against Drew Gulak, and then all of a sudden, basically what happened was there was the matchup which is the tournament style for the Intercontinental Championship belt. It was Daniel Bryan and Drew Gulak who were wrestling each other. Daniel Bryan evidently got the win. He beat Drew, and then I think literally hours after that match, or a day after SmackDown, or 2 days after SmackDown, whatever it could be, Drew Gulak was just released. He just left, completely just left, and that raised a lot of eyebrows because Drew Gulak was actually a well-received wrestler. So it was definitely interesting to see what had happened. I don't know what the true story is going on. I'm not sure what's going around with that. I'm not even going to pretend. But it was a very interesting turn of events for sure. Shifting gears, we're going to shift the gears to a different promotion now. AEW, All Elite Wrestling. Earlier I mentioned that there's an event going on this weekend with AEW. That event is Double or Nothing, and I strongly believe that Double or Nothing is going to be the WrestleMania for AEW. I think that's going to be their big pay-per-view, especially because it's held at Las Vegas at the MGM Grand. It's a big arena. I would imagine they'll eventually branch off into maybe a bigger stadium or a bigger arena where it can hold more capacity of people. Just so you guys know, there's no fans at this event, obviously because of Corona. So it's going to be an empty stadium. However, since Corona and since fans have been off, not allowed to be at these events, AEW is probably the only promotion that has been able to entertain in a not awkward way with the fact that not having fans. Like I said in previous podcasts, they have done a great job. They still do the pyro effects. They have their they have their wrestlers who are on the sidelines who are chanting. It's just you wouldn't think that there weren't. You would think that there would be fans there on how loud they are. You know, they do everything that they do to the best of their ability and to make it still entertaining, to not make it awkward and weird. And like I said, the broadcasting is phenomenal. Just the product is just good stuff. The product is good stuff. Comparing to WWE, I'm not going to do that because WWE is still the powerhouse, but again, AEW has really outshined, in my opinion, during this whole Corona thing, for sure. So anyways, Double or Nothing is the event that's being held on this Saturday, 8 p.m., pay-per-view or Bleacher Report Live, BR Live. If you guys aren't doing anything, check it out. It's a great fight card. It's a stacked card. There's a lot of great matches, and I'm sure there's gonna be a few surprises, and that I'll get into that in a minute as well. So AEW had their pre-show before the pay-per-view last night. AEW Dynamite on TNT. That was a very good card. It did exactly what it needed to. It did exactly what it needed to do to continue the storylines and to promote, to advertise, and to get these matches exciting for Saturday. So, just to kind of quickly do a rundown of the matches for that happened. First, you had your world champion, the AEW world champion, Jon Moxley, go up against in wrestling they call them jobbers. It's basically someone who's just there just to make the other wrestler look good, type of thing. This jobber, they named him 10, like the number 10. He's part of this cult, I guess, this group called the Dark Order. Jon Moxley wrecked him. I'm pretty sure he broke his arm. Not obviously kayfabe, not literally. And basically the idea was to keep promoting the eventful matchup between Jon Moxley and Mr. Brody Lee, again, or formerly known as Luke Harper for you WWE guys who are not watching AEW. Mr. Brody Lee is the leader of this said group, the Dark Order, and he pretty much forced his way into the title picture, and now him and Jon Moxley will be wrestling on Saturday night for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. I believe that's going to be a solid match. Both are terrific performers. They're terrific on the mic. It's going to be a great storyline. Yes, does it feel kind of pushed, random? Yeah, it does. But you know what? The idea of what AEW did creatively, they made it happen so fast, but they were able to put a storyline just as fast, which is what you need to do to make matches matters, to have a storyline. And then obviously it's up to the wrestlers to create that and still continue to build that story during their match. And these two are terrific performers, and I'm sure that's exactly what's going to happen. That's going to be an underrated matchup for sure. I know a lot of people are a little kind of confused by the fact that it happened so fast, but ideally that's going to be a great match, I think. And prediction wise, I'm going to go with Jon Moxley to retain the title. I don't think he just won it back in February at Revolution. I don't think you're going to have him lose a title on his 1-year anniversary date of appearing with AEW. It just wouldn't make sense. I think he's going to retain the title and he's going to keep it and continue to be our world champion. Next matchup on Dynamite, you had MJF go up against Marco Stunt. Basically, this was just a tune-up match for MJF. It was to make Marco Stunt look bad. However, Marco Stunt is a heart of gold. He's 125 pounds. He's a small dude, but the way that the AEW, again, the way that creatively the way that AEW does it, it's just gold. It's great. You know, MJF being a class act as he is, obviously taking bumps and making Marco Stunt look good. And it's just, you had two solid wrestlers going in there doing their thing. So definitely a great matchup between the two. So MJF obviously ended up winning that matchup. He's going up against one of Marco Stunt's partners, Jungle Boy. They're in a group called Jurassic Express. They are setting up a matchup between obviously MJF and Jungle Boy. That's going to be a solid matchup. I believe the matchup is going to be, it could go either way. You kind of have a babyface in Jungle Boy versus the heel in MJF, but I think MJF is on a huge roll right now. He's a very solid singles competitor, and I think he's definitely going to be a champion down the line for sure. I would say that MJF is going to come out victorious in that matchup for sure. Moving on, you had two legends basically talk for two guys that are going to be wrestling. So there was this tournament that's been going on for a vacant championship belt that AEW has created just in time for Double or Nothing. Said belt is called the TNT World Championship belt, or the TNT belt, championship belt, whatever, however you want to call it. The two competitors going at it are Lance Archer and Cody Rhodes, or AKA Cody. Lance Archer is a dominant wrestler. He's big, he's mean, he pretty much demolished everyone that AEW has thrown at him. Cody is on a redemption road. He's looking to become the champ. There's a lot on the line for him. There's a lot on the line for Lance Archer. There's a lot going into this match that has been built up for months, and this matchup is going to be a very, very solid matchup. This is going to be another underrated matchup. I believe it's going to be one of those matches that could steal the show. To be honest with you, I think you have two solid competitors. Lance Archer. I didn't know about Lance Archer much until AEW, and he's a freaking beast, man. He's a beast. So it's going to be in my opinion, it's going to be a solid wrestling match. There's going to be blood. No freaking doubt about it. So you had Jake the Snake Roberts manages Lance Archer. Arn Anderson manages Cody. Those two are absolute legends in the game. They have probably 80 plus years experience combined, wrestling experience. Those guys are they're just legends. They're legends. They're amazing on the mic. They did a kind of like a talk off of basically of my guy's better than your guy and blah 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 blah. It did what it had to do promo to lead up to the matchup. They could have probably just did away with a promo, and I feel like it could have been better or more than what it was face to face. Didn't hinder anything. They still did what they had to do. Like I said, their promo was good. It's just the idea of them trying to test one of another in terms of wrestling and fighting each other was probably not needed due to how old they are. But ideally, the promo fact of the match, they definitely got that across, and it's going to be a solid match for sure. So it's going to be exciting. It's going to be very exciting to watch. I'm excited for that matchup. And like I said, that's probably going to be a matchup that's going to be probably steal the show, honestly. So, prediction for that matchup, man, this is so hard. This is really hard to say because Cody has been put in a position where he overcame obstacles to try to face off against Jericho for the AEW World Heavyweight Champion. It didn't work out, and then there were stipulations where if he lost a matchup against MJF, that he would never be able to compete for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship title match again. Fortunately, he lost, and now you have him kind of on this redemption path where now there's a TNT Championship belt on the line where he's now trying to get the TNT Championship belt. And obviously, Cody runs the show with AEW. He's a big proponent for AEW for sure. So, and then you have Lance Archer, who's seen as his big dog, this huge guy, beats the shit out of everyone. And then luckily, smartly, AEW, again, when he shows his destruction, he's going up against pretty much like jobbers, people who really aren't. They're good, but they're not great. You know, it's not that serious type of people. So, and Lance Archer just absolutely destroyed them. And then, luckily, AEW was able to put in Colt Cabana and Dustin. and having Archer wrestle those guys, you kind of see that Archer is still human. So with the idea of him still being human, you still have Cody who can essentially beat this guy Lance. So it's one of those things where it's the matchup is just so up in the air, and this is why I love AEW, because a lot of their matches are like this. You don't really know who's going to win. They really surprise you, and they keep the fans guessing, which is awesome. I just it's hard to see Cody losing this match. It really is, especially because he lost the AEW World Heavyweight Championship match, and then he lost the stipulation that he can't compete again for the AEW Heavyweight Championship. So you pretty much have two major losses here. So there's a lot riding on Cody here, and like I said, it's literally a road to redemption. So prediction: Cody wins. There, I said it. Cody wins. Moving on, you have Rey Fenix and Orange Cassidy. Man, this matchup was pure gold. It did exactly what it had to do to lead up to the Casino Royale ladder match. You had two great wrestlers. Man, stylistically, these guys, Rey Fenix and Orange Cassidy, solid freaking performers, man. They are so good at what they do. They are such great technical wrestlers. No, they're not big, but who gives a fuck, man? I feel like wrestling is just... I feel like it's just the idea of you have to be big, because I feel like that's just what's known for wrestling, is that you have to be muscular, you have to be big, and all this kind of stuff. But the idea that you can still have these wrestlers who aren't big, cut, toned out, whatever, who put on fantastic matches is so much better than your powerhouse, in my opinion. I think that these guys, especially this match went so well. It did so much. It didn't hurt either wrestler. Orange Cassidy ended up losing the match, but the way that he lost was due to distraction, so it doesn't hinder Orange Cassidy's popularity. And then the brawl that took place after the fact with all the contestants that are going to be in the Casino Royale ladder match, except one, which I'll get into real quick later on. It was good. It was absolutely good. The Orange Cassidy Rey Fenix match was great. My prediction for that match, I'm going to wait until a little bit later to discuss with you guys when I go through my overview. Moving on, we had a women's division tag team matchup between Nyla Rose, Britt Baker, versus Kris Statlander and Hikaru Shida. So Nyla Rose is the champion. Hikaru Shida is the number one contender. They are going at it for the AEW Women's World Heavyweight Champion or World Championship belt at Double or Nothing, and then Britt Baker and Kris Statlander are going at it on a one-on-one match, singles match at Double or Nothing. So basically, to break this down, this matchup did exactly what it's supposed to do. There was a possible moment in the match where I think Britt Baker might have got hurt. It looked like she got hurt. It could have been kayfabe. I don't know. They didn't really talk about it on the air. So ideally, there's a possibility that she might be hurt or she might not be hurt. I'm not too sure. I really don't know. But the match was pure gold in terms of setting up the Nyla Rose Hikaru Shida matchup for Saturday. I think that's going to be an excellent match. I mean, Shida's very over with the fans. She's the number one contender. She has an excellent record in AEW. She's the number one contender. I think that's going to be a great matchup. I honestly think that that's going to be a matchup prediction-wise. I think Hikaru Shida is going to come out victorious on that match. I believe she's going to beat out Nyla Rose to become the new AEW Women's World Champion. And then lastly, Dynamite ended with the main event, Matt Hardy versus Sammy Guevara. So, for months, they've been doing a Sammy Guevara, For months they've been teasing the Elite versus Inner Circle matchup.
that has blood and guts was supposed to happen months ago before this whole pandemic started. That put a hold on everything, and then the pandemic happened, and everything kind of got put on hold again. And then now that Florida opened up, everything's kind of just naturally worked back to place where we have the Elite versus the Inner Circle. And my fucking God, man, this is finally happening. This is amazing. I can't wait to see the outcome of this matchup. This is going to be great. There's just so much riding on the line, especially with the Elite. There's so much turmoil and unfinished business, especially with Hangman Page, who's probably the most over wrestler going into the pandemic, and then boom, the pandemic happens, and then all of a sudden his world just comes crashing down. He's had beef with the Elite plus the Inner Circle. He's been very back and forth. The gimmick that he's got going on, it's just he's so over what the fans was probably still is. It's just absolutely fascinating. So the matchup between Matt Hardy. So going back to the matchup. So the matchup between Matt Hardy and Sammy Guevara, excellent match. Did exactly what it was supposed to do. Told the story. Continued the Elite versus Inner Circle battle. You had two great wrestlers going at it. A high flyer and Sammy Guevara. You had Matt Hardy, old up there in age, but he still got it. He knows he was an ex-high flyer, so he was able to handle Sammy Guevara very well. And Sammy Guevara is just such great talent. He's young. He's only 26, and he's going to be a future champion. He's got it. He's got the looks. He's got the wrestling moves. He's technical. He's gonna go places. Sammy Guevara. Evidently, Matt Hardy wins, beats Sammy Guevara 1-2-3 via Matt Hardy's finisher, the Twist of Fate. After the match, Matt Hardy gets a steel chair, goes to hit Sammy Guevara, who's down, and then on the big Titanatron screen, you see that the Inner Circle is ganging up on the Elite, or Kenny Omega. So then, as the Inner Circle is beating up on Kenny Omega, the camera pans over to the stadium. By the way, this is at Jacksonville Jaguar Stadium, because obviously Tony Khan. You see the Young Bucks up on the stands dive into the field, hitting Santana Ortiz. They start going at it. A brawl starts to ensue. Matt Hardy gets involved now because he saw Kenny Omega getting beat up, so he went in for the save. So now you have the Elite and the Inner Circle going at it at the stadium, Jacksonville, on their football field. Amazing, by the way. And you have everything's going on, and then all of a sudden, the camera pans to the beyond the 50-yard line and back, and you see just someone randomly just sprinting down the football field. Freaking amazing. Excuse me. Freaking amazing. Sure enough, here he comes. Hangman Page. Adam Page, my boy, comes running in. Makes a save. Starts kicking ass, taking names, doing cowboy shit. Doing what Hangman Page does best. It was great to see these guys come back. The Young Bucks, Hangman, is the first time they appeared on TV since this whole pandemic thing. So it was great to see them. It was great to see them build the Elite and the Inner Circle build their matchup for this Saturday. And then typical fashion of the Elite, you got the Elite, Matt Hardy, the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, and then there's Hangman Page walking away, solo act. There's still turmoil. There's still controversy within the Elite. Who knows what's going to happen? Saturday's going to be a great night of matches. I cannot wait. Double or Nothing is going to be sick. Prediction, I got the Inner Circle beating the Elite. Yes, I said it. The Inner Circle beating the Elite. So, now that I pretty much broke it down for you guys, I'm going to do a quick overview of the matches and my predictions, okay? So, you're going to have Cody versus Lance Archer. You're going to have Cody winning that matchup, I believe. MJF versus Jungle Boy. I believe MJF's going to win that matchup. The main event, Jon Moxley versus Brody Lee. I believe Jon Moxley is going to win that match. And then you have the Casino Ladder match
And basically the stipulation for that match is the winner will get a match in the future for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. So in that matchup, you have Darby Allin, Colt Cabana, Orange Cassidy, Rey Fenix, Scorpio Sky, Kip Sabian, Frankie Kazarian, Luchasaurus, and a TBD. So earlier when I was going through it, I mentioned that I'll come back to this point about who's going to win, because I wanted to give you guys an idea. So now we're in the overview. So the TBD, I believe, is going to be a surprise wrestler. It might be a wrestler. So recently, WWE, when I say recently, I think like about a month now, WWE released a whole bunch of wrestlers. The bigger names right off the bat: Zack Ryder, Rusev, EC3, Heath Slater, and a whole bunch more. There's a whole bunch. Oh, the Revival. There's a whole bunch more. Okay. I believe that the TBD is going to be one of these wrestlers: Rusev, Zack Ryder, or Drew Gulak. One of those three wrestlers. I don't know who, but I believe it's going to be one of those three, and that's going to be your first surprise for this matchup. The winner, this is going to be tough. See, here's the thing. I believe the winner of the Casino Ladder match is going to be Darby Allin. I think he's my dark horse in this matchup. I think Darby Allin, he's also very well over with the fans, and I believe that he's going to be the guy to win the Casino Ladder match. Darby Allin. You heard it here first. Or maybe not. Anyways, then you have the Women's World Championship match, which is a no disqualification, no countout match. Nyla Rose versus Hikaru Shida. I'm going with Hikaru Shida. Title change. Hikaru Shida is going to win. She's going to beat Nyla Rose. She's going to become the AEW Women's World Champion. Dr. Britt Baker versus Chris Statlander. I'm going with Chris Statlander. The buy-in match, you have Private Party and Best Friends. That's an important matchup because that's basically going to be the number one contention to the AEW World Tag Team Champions, which is held by Adam Page and Kenny Omega. Best Friends are going to win that match. I think Best Friends are pretty much due right now to win. I think they're also going to beat Hangman and Kenny Omega. So, Best Friends, they're winning. And then you have the Inner Circle versus the Elite in a Stadium Stampede match. So, basically, the ring's going to be at the 50-yard line. It's an anything goes, false count anywhere. Anything could happen. It's going to be absolutely insane. Absolutely insane of a match. Another surprise is going to be the Revival, formerly known as, they are the Revival, but I think they're going to be a different name, probably the Revolt. I'm not sure what they're going to be called for AEW, but that's going to be your second. That's going to be your another surprise. The Revival is going to come. And I have a feeling they're going to interfere in this matchup. They will, in some shape or way or form, interfere in this matchup. I could feel it. Hence, the Inner Circle beating the Elite. That's my prediction. And then a match that was made last night on Dynamite, pretty much forcibly, it feels like. You had Dustin Rhodes versus Shawn Spears. I mean, that was kind of a matchup that just felt like it was just put in there just for because. I'm going to go with Shawn Spears with that match. I think Shawn Spears is on a roll right now. Singles, and as a singles competitor, I think he's going to keep that flow going, and I think he's gonna end up winning. So that's my prediction, guys. That's what I got going on for AEW. Come this Saturday, Double or Nothing. Check it out. 8 o'clock pay-per-view or BR Live. Don't miss it. It's going to be a great night of matches, of wrestling matches, and it's going to be exciting, man. It's going to be very exciting. All right? It's at the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Nevada. Check that shit out. Okay? And, yeah, that's it. That's going to be... That's a big thing Double or Nothing is going to be a great night. Like I said, I believe it's going to be like WrestleMania. It's going to be WWE's WrestleMania, I believe, but we'll see. But Double or Nothing this Saturday, May 23rd, 8 o'clock p.m., pay-per-view, BR Live. Check it out. You won't be disappointed. You have my predictions. That's what I think is going to be happening, and that's it. So now I'm going to put everyone in their feels because I'm just that asshole. All right. There was an unfortunate incident that had occurred with a former WWE wrestler. His name is Shad Gaspard, formerly known as part of Crime Time. So, unfortunately, Shad Gaspard was found dead. The body So, what happened was he was out. He went missing on Sunday after he'd been swimming in a reopened Marina Del Rey with his 10-year-old son out in California. I guess the beaches had reopened at some point a week prior. So what happened was Shad and his son went out to sea, and I guess a really strong wave had came in, turned the tide. The Shad, I guess, saved his son from that, and unfortunately, while saving his son from that, the tide took Shad. He couldn't fight off the current, and then his body went missing. U.S. Coast Guard tried to do a search for the body. They couldn't find it until days later, which recently, as of yesterday, I think, his body washed up on a beach in California and confirmed that it was Shad Gaspard. He was obviously pronounced dead beforehand, but they couldn't find his body. So now that they found his body, unfortunately, it is confirmed Shad Gaspard had passed away. Like I said, he has a 10-year-old son, so it's the family. My thoughts and prayers go out to their family. I can't imagine what they're going through right now. It's a very unfortunate situation with what happened. My prayers go out to the family. Rest in peace, and we're just gonna have a moment of silence and respects to Shad Gaspard. All right, Shad. Thank you so much for your time with the WWE. I remember watching him. He was formerly known as JTG Crime Time. They were funny. They had a bunch of skits with D-Generation X at the time, with Shawn Michaels and Triple H. It's a very sad and tragic situation that had occurred. It's very displeasing. Like I said, my prayers go out to the Gaspard family. It's a very unfortunate situation. Very unfortunate. With that, guys, sorry that we had to end on that note, but it's just something that I wanted to pay my respects to the family, to Shad. He was a wrestler. This is a wrestling podcast as of today, so I wanted to do something in memoriam for Shad. So I'm ending this off with a note of sending out my prayers to the families, taking a brief pause, and again, it's just a very unfortunate situation. It's very tragic. All right. Well, guys, that's it for the podcast. Thank you for listening. Check it up. Check me out. Check the podcast out on YouTube, Fisticuffs Podcast. Check it out on Instagram. Fisticuffs Podcast. Like, comment, subscribe. That'd be 100% greatly appreciated. Hit the bell to get notified on when I post videos. I post videos weekly. And I would 100% appreciate your guys' support. Thank you so much, man. I'm all in my feels right now. I can't even talk. Like, I'm so, like, sad about what happened. Like, I can't even talk because I'm so sad. But thank you guys again for listening. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for your support. I love you guys. Again, YouTube, like, comment, subscribe. Instagram, follow me. It's Fisticuffs Podcast. Check out Double or Nothing this Saturday, May 23rd, 8 p.m. Pay-per-view, BR Live. Check it out. Do it. You won't be disappointed. Take care, everyone. God bless. Stay safe. Stay healthy.